everyone, I'm Anya Esma, and today I want to give you another set of journaling prompts for one of the celebrations of the Wheel of the Year. In this case, MABON, or the Autumn Equinox, is coming up, and actually it was yesterday. I'm filming this a little bit late, but anyways, you know, you can always celebrate it over a variety of days, over a number of days. And if it's already too late, don't worry about it. You can still do these prompts. You can still reflect with this. Just sit with it and see what comes through. So I have been doing spreads and journaling prompts for the Wheel of the Year for almost a year now. And I just want to say real quick, if you are in the Southern Hemisphere and it is actually OSTARA for you right now, the spring equinox, then I also have a video about that, which I will link below. So let's tune into the energy of autumn, of fall, which has just started. And I have to say, it is my favorite season. I know a lot of basic people say that, a lot of basic bees love fall, and I am one of them, because when the sun is so low and when the trees lose their leaves and when everything is changing in nature, it gives me this feeling that change is possible for me too. And it gives me just this energy boost that lasts a little bit throughout winter until I get tired of winter and the cold. But it definitely has this feeling of potential to me. And I think that's why a lot of people love it, because autumn just has this potential to go inward as well and to kind of rest up from all of the troubles, all of the many things that happen during summer, so we can come back into a balance between outward activity and inward reflection, between light and darkness, and between the thoughts that we have and the actions that we put out into the world, because summer is a lot of action, not a lot of thought for a lot of people. So I feel like autumn is kind of the period where we come down from that. I have cleared up my table. As you can probably see next to me, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know that my table is usually very full, and if you follow me on Instagram, and I've sort of cleared it off because I want a clean slate to work with for autumn, for all the shadow work that I'm planning to do, for all of the spiritual work that I'm planning to do, and to not rush into it with all this clutter that has been on my table forever, but rather to create a clean slate that I can work on, basically. And I also feel like, and this will be reflected in the first journaling prompt that I will get to in a second, that summer gives us a lot of food for thought that we can use for the shadow work that we are doing in autumn and in winter. So as always, this spread will sort of play around with the symbols of the season, but also give you some inspiration for shadow work, give you some ideas what you can bring into your life, what you can release, what you can do with the energy of fall, and how you can integrate that into your shadow work. So let us get started with this autumn equinox tarot spread / journaling prompts, because you can journal as I speak, or you can just draw tarot cards later. Both works. Just open your mind, listen to my words, and write down whatever comes to your mind. That usually helps. Even if you have a deeper reflection session later, it will help if you write down your first thoughts as you listen to me reading these prompts. So the first prompt that I have for you is, what occurrence during the summer months can offer you a starting point for the shadow work that you are doing this fall? So what this can be is a variety of things. Maybe an event, a relationship, a fight, a conflict you had during the summer already came to mind here, but this can also be any recurring lessons that surround you. For example, if you do a similar trip or even the same trip every year in summer, and you always come up against the same resistances, you always come up against the same issues, this could be an opportunity to think about what happened and to work on that, to get to the bottom of it, and to find those unaddressed issues that are really hiding close to the surface and manifest themselves in those events during the summer, but you haven't quite paid attention to that. You haven't quite identified the pattern. So it's time to really reflect on what happened during the summer and how it can help you work through the issues that you want to work through in autumn. And I know a lot of what I'm saying is assuming that you even want to do deeper work in autumn and want to do shadow work in autumn, which isn't necessary, of course, but I feel like a little reflection about summer can't hurt, just so you can put it into context and kind of shift your focus to the different events that have been happening then, and reflect on how your summer was and how you can take its lessons into fall and winter, essentially. For me, I took a trip to California, which of course offered plenty of ideas for things to work on because it was completely outside of my comfort zone. I never go on trips. I usually don't travel. So going to a different country, which is granted my partner's home country, but still was very, very strange to me and very inspiring as far as breaking up my routine goes and really reflecting on how I can change my life here where I live for the better, because I made those experiences outside of my comfort zone and was actually pretty okay with it, if you know what I mean. So it gave me a lot of inspiration, what I still have to work on, what I'm doing a lot better with than last time I was there a few years ago, and it's just a great opportunity to reflect on those things. And because summer has a tendency to guide us outside of our comfort zones, usually there's a lot of lessons contained in reflecting about summer and about everything we did there. All right, that was the first prompt. Now let's move on to the second one, which is a new mindset, idea, or activity for your self-care to keep your spirits high in fall and winter. So what we are looking for here is definitely something that is a bit of a pick-me-up for those people who may actually be negatively affected by the dark slowly creeping in. Right now we are more in the golden days of the summer-autumn transition, but it will get darker, it will get cloudier, and for those people who unfortunately have seasonal affective disorder or anything close to that, it can be quite hard to deal with these things and to deal with the darkness creeping in. So what I want this prompt to represent is something that is invigorating, something that can not only help you come down from summer slowly rather than being hit in the face and being completely out of it and kind of feeling lost now that it's not warm anymore, but rather something that nourishes you throughout the struggles or the issues that you might be dealing with during autumn. So think of that, think of what self-care techniques you know, what may help you, and what can inspire you to really care for yourself in a deep way, not just in a taking a bubble bath way, but also in a do I need to take care of this thing that has been on my mind forever way. You know what I mean? So take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, and that is really what this prompt is all about. As the third prompt, we have what part of your life needs relaxation, a softer grip, trust, release, and relief. So this prompt is sort of inspired by the falling leaves, because trees have to lose their leaves in order to make it through winter. They can't nourish every part of themselves throughout winter and have to sort of minimize. And I think minimizing intensity is something that is now the perfect time to do, because we are still kind of on the high of summer. It's still a bit warm, it's still a bit sunny, at least where I am. And as we move into the darkness, it's important to minimize where we invest our energy and sort of conserve more of our energy, so that we can make it through winter happy and healthy. This card represents, and this prompt represents, something that you feel is taking up too much of your energy and isn't quite necessary anymore. It's a story that may have ended, or it may be a story that you want to end now because you are cutting your losses, because you feel like you have nothing left to learn in that situation, whether it is your job, whether it is a person, whether it is the place that you're living. It can be a lot of things. We can get tired of a lot of things, and we can release a lot of things. And that doesn't mean that you completely let go of it, never to be seen again, but it does mean that you have to focus your energy elsewhere. You have to focus your energy on yourself, on nourishing yourself throughout winter. And if then this place, person, job, whatever reoccurs in spring, maybe you are better prepared to deal with it then. So this is something like the back burner, basically. It doesn't have to be the back burner. It can also just be the trash. It can also just be gone. That is up to you to think about with this prompt. So let's move to the fourth prompt. Now this one is a little mystical. It's a little bit, you might not understand it immediately or might not know what it refers to immediately. The name is just, or the prompt is just, a way to honor the darkness. A way to honor the darkness. Now this can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. It's a very open-ended prompt, I will admit that. It's a very mystical prompt. Maybe it will reveal itself throughout autumn, throughout fall and winter, what exactly this card represented or what exactly your thought as you are hearing this meant. But that's just how it is. I just wanted to take in this a little bit more mystical prompt that teaches us not to fear those issues, but to honor those parts of ourselves that are a bit darker, that we maybe don't want to step into contact with. And this can be a very long-term thing, or it can be an activity that you can do right now. So pay attention to what the people are doing in the card. Maybe this is something you can actually do, that you can actually embody right now, or it can also be something that you don't quite understand yet that will reveal itself in the long term. It's a story that's only at the very beginning and you may not know what that even means right now. That's kind of how it was for me when I did this spread. I drew the Page of Swords for this, which was actually kind of my guiding card for my California trip. And for A Way to Honor the Darkness, I got the Page of Swords again in a different deck. So yeah, I'm not quite clear what it means, but I'm sure it will reveal itself, and it's just a path that I follow. And of course, this can have to do with working with deities, working with ancestors. It can be whatever you make it. It can be honoring those parts of you that you don't want to see, bringing them into light. It can be a lot of things. And I hope that in its multitude, it is inspiring to you, this kind of weird mystical prompt, and that you can draw something from it. I will link my Patreon below, which has even more journaling prompts, also coming out with my journaling prompts for October in just a little bit. If you enjoyed this, I would be very happy if you subscribe to me, if you share it if you want to. I will also link some other videos below about goddess work, about establishing new habits, about witchcraft at work that I recently made, and I hope you enjoy those as well. And I wish you the greatest of weeks, the greatest of days, and an awesome autumn equinox. I knew I was going to say spring equinox once in the